Hello, this is Nathaly with the Real Estate Investment Nomad podcast. Today we're going all the way to the Middle East with our friend Michael here and Dubai. So I'm going to introduce who Michael is, what market he works on, and what is the buying process in Dubai. Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, my name is Michael Magee. I'm a real estate advisor in Dubai. I specialize in the luxury end of the market, but I help investors invest in good, long-term, strong investment opportunities. And I feel I provide a very balanced overview of the market, because one of the things that you could accuse Dubai of is being extremely they're extremely good at marketing themselves, and there's a lot of projects being built, there's a lot of cranes, there's a lot of apartments being handed over, and you really have to be very cautious or careful about which project you get into. So I feel that having an advisor who can give you a balanced view of the market and not one that's overhyped is extremely valuable in this market right now.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of people talk about Dubai, but many people go there without any education prior to going there, or they don't know or
Sure.
understand what's happening. And
Yeah.
I feel, some more context
Yeah.
with each buildings, because not every opportunity is a good opportunity. Will you share more about your market and some of the regions of like what would you recommend in the areas that you cover, as well as what's your process?
So the process is really straightforward, actually. It's extremely uh, transparent in how you buy a property. And to give you an idea, if an investor is coming into Dubai, they're looking at either a ready property, an off-plan property directly from the developer, or a property that's been sold by the developer to an investor, and he's then selling it on before it's been constructed, before it's been handed over. So in the residential market. And so what we find is that developers are selling off-plan properties. That's around 70% of the market in the UAE. And if you want to buy an off-plan property, then the advice is never buy directly from the developer. Never. Always go through an agent. And the reason for that is because developers are only interested in selling you their stock, right? And if you find a good agent who is knowledgeable about the market and who has a good understanding of where future infrastructure projects are happening, where the next, where the metro is being expanded to, what's happening in the area, then he will use that information to advise on the right project. And going directly to a developer will, you won't get any of that. So, but once you find an agent who introduces you to the right project, then you can buy a property from overseas. You don't even have to be in Dubai. And I have done that on a number of occasions with American and Canadian investors who bought a project through video calls with me. We went through everything, and once they send their deposit, it's sent to an escrow account, which all developers in Dubai have to have. And that escrow account is it's a way of ring fencing the investment from the developers' marketing funds or anything related to running their business. When that money goes to the escrow account, it is only for that project, and it's only released to the developer on certain stages throughout the process of the construction. So it minimizes the risk. Doesn't completely get rid of the risk, but it minimizes the risk. And then once you've paid 24% of the total value of the property, then you get what's called an Okud document. And that's your proof of ownership. It's like your deed. It's like a pre-deed.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
And once you have that, then you qualify if the investment is over 2 million dirhams, which is around $500,000. You qualify for a golden visa, which is the big reason why a lot of investors are looking at Dubai and investing in Dubai, is the ability to get the 10-year golden visa, which gives them access to, banking and setting up businesses and using healthcare and being able to live in Dubai, whether it's only one day a year or 6 months of the year or all year round. So that's why a lot of investors are buying. And then, yeah, so from an investment point of view, 24%. And then all of the projects come with payment plans. So that payment plan varies from developer to developer, but it's typically between 40 and 60% of the construction cost until handover. And then on handover, you have to pay the final 40 or 50%. At that stage, you can take out a mortgage on the remaining amount. You'll have to provide evidence of your income in your home country and proof of ownership or proof of residency wherever you are, or address. And then you can take out a mortgage on the remaining amount. But and from that's an off plan. Secondary is a little bit more complicated if you're buying a ready property. There is 4% DLD fee, which you also have.
Tax or like
It is a tax.
transfer
Yeah,
tax?
it's a transfer tax. You have to pay that on off plan as well. So just to point that out. But you have a 4% DLD fee. You then have a 2% agency fee. So that pays the agent that's managing the process. And then you have some trustee fees and mortgage application fees. And typically on a ready property, you can borrow, if you're a non-resident, 50%. And if you're a resident, i.e. maybe you've already bought an off-plan property and you've got the golden visa, then you can borrow up to 70% on a ready property.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And they finance you with your proof of income from your country.
From your home country, yeah.
To be
Yeah, it's relatively straightforward. But you have to be able to show that you've got a reasonable income coming in.
Yeah.
But they don't look into it too much, because the loan to value is quite low.
Yeah.
So you're getting 50 to 60 to 70%. So you're still putting a big chunk of money down.
Up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And how long more or less, I'm sure this will vary, will people wait from the beginning of the project is launched to delivery? Is it a couple years or less or more?
Normally it's 2.5 years. Sometimes if it's a bigger project, a master community that's being built, it could be 3.5 years. And it ranges from, depending on the location and depending on what's happening, it's anywhere between 2 and 3.5 years.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
And then for the value that from you buy in pre-construction until you get the delivery, how much is appreciation in average
Okay.
right now? Like,
So I don't
Well,
have a
pretty-
crystal ball,
yeah,
but I do. So here's my take on the market right now. Dubai has had an incredible run.
yeah.
We've seen a lot of growth in the market. Of the new units that are coming online, being developed or being handed over the next year, 2 years, and 3 years, the vast majority of those are one beds and studios. Now, I would be cautiously optimistic about the growth in that market. I think you're not going to see as much growth in terms of capital gains in the one bed and studio market. If you look at townhouses and villas, I think you could see upwards of 30% growth, because it's there's just not the supply. There's not enough.
The construction is more of the one and
There's a lot of one beds and two beds coming on the market. Now, that's not to say that there will be some areas where you will see really good capital growth, but it's hard to pinpoint, one area and say, okay.
Interesting. So it's similar to what is happening right now in Tulum in Mexico, that a lot of supply was built because it was like easy ticket, right? Like 150,000.
Yeah.
So they were selling a lot of studios and one bedrooms, but now there's an oversupply and the rental income has gone down because there's too much, in the offer in the market.
Yeah, I mean, if my investors ask me, would I buy a one bed or a studio in the market right now? And I probably wouldn't if I was looking for capital growth. I would go for a townhouse, sort of villa.
Yeah, similar. He's happening similar in several markets that were international.
Yeah.
They start, and then now how it evolves because now people want more space.
It's all about
your family. Interesting. And what would be the buying process? So from the time that you like a development, I heard that Dubai sells out quickly, right? Like depending on the brands and who builds it.
True. So it's an insane market where developers will launch projects and potentially sell out within days. But they're smart because what they do is they launch phase one and sell it out quickly.
Okay.
And often they pre-launch it to their existing investor base.
Okay.
And so those investors come in and buy them, and they're able to go, oh, we're sold out, right?
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of a marketing sort of strategy there. But that being said, the good projects do sell out super fast. There is so much money in the Middle East, and there's such a demand for good quality projects that they do sell fast. That being said, you can often get cancellations, where what happens is an investor will commit to buying 3 or 4 and then realize that he really should have only committed to buying 1 or 2, and you get cancellations over over the launch date. So but the process is super fast. I mean, you can literally secure a unit within a couple of hours simply by doing a transfer and proving that you've sent the money.
Yeah.
And once you prove that you've sent the money to the developer, then they will take that unit off the market and they will allocate it to you. And then you just have to transfer the remaining 20% or even 5% over the next 3 or 4 or 5 days.
Interesting. That's really straightforward.
It's very straightforward. Dubai has a thing called the Dubai Rest app, and that's an application, an app on your phone that allows you to keep track of all of the developments that you've invested in. It keeps all your deeds and documents in the app, and it gives you insight into the progress of the construction that the developer is building. So you can look from anywhere in the world and say, okay, we're now at 30% of the construction stage from when I bought, where it was at 0. And you then at those stages, then it's there's photographs and videos that you can go in and watch from anywhere and see the building actually going up or the house being built.
Interesting. Is that also due to the escrow amount held back and then the different stages that the developer
Yeah,
receives the
the
money?
escrow is linked to the stages of the construction and released at certain stages in the construction period.
That's really good because it gives safety to the buyers that can have peace of mind that they're not buying, something from the thin air and they're like, oh,
For sure.
it's real.
For sure. The Dubai government has really thought about the best way to give international investors peace of mind and security when investing in the UAE. And for your clients or for your investors in the US, it might seem like a long way away, but the returns that you can get on good investments is it's pretty good. You're looking at 5-6% returns,
Okay.
sometimes 7 if it's in the right if it's in the right a certain project. But one of my favorite projects, actually, I'll just mention, is Expo City, and that's a project.
Okay.
Expo City, yeah, it's a project that's it's in Dubai South, and so it's quite close to the new Al Maktoum Airport, which is going to be the largest international airport in the world when it opens in 2028. And it is Expo City is a legacy project from Expo 2020, where the Dubai government spent they spent $8 billion on Expo 2020, which is the exhibition for all the world's countries to come and showcase their country's economy and everything good about their country. And what Dubai then did was turn that legacy of Expo 2020 into a sort of a sustainable city where it has a beautiful dome in the middle of the community that plays incredible music and concerts, and it has events, and you've got a exhibition center which is being currently moved from downtown into Expo City, where the capacity in the conference center currently is 300 conferences a year. In Expo City, where the conference is moving to, they're doubling the capacity to 600 conferences a year. So the footfall through that area is going to be huge.
That's crazy.
So from an investor's point of view, there will be huge demand in that location. And we're seeing it from, we're seeing big institutional investors come in and buy up whole buildings in that area
That's insane.
because it's such a compelling investment opportunity.
How big is the complex? Is it like
So,
it's big?
yeah, I mean, it's large. It has hotels. It has parks. It has a theater. It has, as I say, a mall and a conference center. It's got a metro station. It's one stop to the airport. And they're starting from within the city and building out. So all of the projects that are being built now are very close to the city center, and that's what makes them so appealing. And on top of that, it's government backed. So the developer is 100% government backed. There is no question that this will not get built. So that gives investors a huge amount of peace of mind.
That's really interesting. And I knew the airport was coming up soon, but you said 2028?
So the
Contrary.
first part of the airport is operational already, but for they're shifting the DXB International Airport over to the Al Maktoum Airport, and that starts in 2028.
That's amazing to keep an eye on what the infrastructure for which government is doing, because that's kind of like the future.
That's where the money's going, and so when government spends significant amounts of their public money in those areas, that's where you see growth.
You can see they're bidding for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. What are the nationalities that mostly go to UAE? Is like I know people from all over the world, especially UK. But do you see any more these days, this year, coming from different
Yeah.
places around the world?
Every nationality is coming to Dubai. Dubai is number one destination for multimillionaires to move to, and it's held that spot now for a couple of years. And the nationalities come from India, from UK, from Africa, from other parts of the Middle East, from China even. We're seeing more and more investors come. So it's seen as a very safe, solid investment. And a lot of people are coming because of lots of reasons. Tax in the UK, well known. The UK government are doing everything they can to push high net worths out of the region. Why, we don't know, but there's a lot of tax, and that's making people reconsider where they want to be based. Places like India, it's a second home option for a lot of Indians, and it's a hedge against their own economy and their own property market. And they've been coming to Dubai for years. The Indians are some of the biggest investors in Dubai. And then places like Italy, again, it's tax. China, it's sort of getting away from certain, situations in their own country. And then in the US and Canada, we're seeing more and more investors, Indian and Arabic investors coming from America who have made a lot of money in the US and want to diversify their investments.
Mhm. That's awesome. So then we see a lot of diversity.
Huge
It's a
amounts of
fun
diversity.
city to
Yeah,
go and visit.
absolutely. My advice is to come in October, November, and really fully enjoy the weather and everything that Dubai and Abu Dhabi has to offer. Because although we talk about Dubai a lot, I think Abu Dhabi is really a very interesting market to keep an eye on.
It's pretty close, right? Within an hour.
It's in our distance, yeah, between the two. But Abu Dhabi is offering some incredible tourist attractions, and that's going to really drive the market. And that's a market that I'm keeping a really close eye on.
Very interesting. I'm excited to talk about Abu Dhabi next time that we chat again.
We'll chat about Abu
Because
Dhabi next
I
time.
know that is there and it's grabbing everybody's attention to see maybe it's the next Dubai. I mean, they're sisters.
Sure.
Sister cities.
Yeah.
Awesome. How can people find you? So if you have any more questions about Dubai specifically, or what's coming, or what are the potential areas, what's your handle?
So I post on my Instagram account, which is Michael Magee, Magee, Dubai, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm doing more and more stuff on YouTube as well. But reach out if you want to have a chat or a video call. I'm more than happy to have a discussion over a video call and give you some insights into the market or specific projects.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. No, thank you so much for the information. It was very informational for people who are curious to invest in Dubai, or they just have some questions on what are potential areas. You can reach out to Michael. We'll put all his information and description below so you can reach out directly and learn more about the Middle East.
Thank you, Nathaly.
Thank you. See you guys next time. Bye. See you. Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate Investment Nomad podcast. I hope today's episode has inspired you to explore new horizons in global real estate. Remember, the world is full of opportunities waiting to be discovered. And with the right insights, you can turn those opportunities into successful investments. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us bring you the best content possible. Don't forget to follow us in social media for more resources and updates. Until next time, my friends, this is Nathaly Salas, encouraging you to think big, invest globally, and transform your real estate journey. Safe travels and happy investing.